Okay, to set up a 2-point room, I'm going to go in the middle of my page. I don't have to, but to make this simple, I'm going to do it at the middle. I'm going to do it at the top third again, so I've got room to draw furniture down here. I'm actually going to make this a little bigger, so hopefully you can see it in the camera. And then I'm going to say this is an 8-foot line. I could say it's 10 foot or 14 or whatever I wanted to do. For now, we're going to go 8 foot here. That makes this 0. Center is 4. I know where my 6 and my 2 is in the middle of those. And therefore I know where my 5 and my 3 are. 5 feet. My average person's height, right? Or average person's eye level at least. On that horizon line, go to the right side of the page, give yourself your right vanishing point, and go to the left side of the page, and right at the place at the edge of the page, put the left vanishing point. Draw from the 0 to the right vanishing point, and from the 8 to the right vanishing point, and then continue those lines on out. Not headed to the corner of the page, I'm just continuing the trajectory, whatever is straight. I'm having a hard time being straight there. I need to turn my paper. Erase a few lines so I'm not so confused. Okay, now this is the left wall of my room. This is my line between the ceiling and the floor and the left wall. So to make the right wall, I come from left vanishing point, through the 0, through the 8. This is my ceiling, my right wall, my left wall, and my floor. Okay, to measure out into the room, there is a tricky way to do it. We're going to keep it simple because we're sketching. So 8 to 0, I'm going to pinch my pencil there. I'm going to bring 8 out here. Going to cheat it in just a little bit because I know I'm in perspective. And then I'm going to take that measurement down this wall as well, and I'm going to say that's 8. It's not exact, but once I divide the floor, I'll be getting increasing and decreasing increments, so it'll be okay. I'm going to go from that 8 to my right vanishing point, and I'm going to continue that trajectory into the room. From this 8 to the left vanishing point, continue that trajectory into the room, and what I've drawn right here now is an 8 by 8 foot square in the back of the room. Alright, I can divide that square. From the center, I go towards the right vanishing point and away from the right vanishing point. I go towards the left vanishing point and away, and that tells me where my 4 foot is here. So I've got a 4 foot square here, and a 4 foot square here, and a 4 foot square here, and a 4 foot square here. I can divide that in 2s if I want. Every time I divide now, though, I'm not going horizontal. I'm going off to right or left. So in my 2-point, my height is still vertical, but my width and my depth go off to vanishing points, right vanishing point or left vanishing point. Okay? So I need a 12 foot here. I've got a 4 and an 8. How do I find that? If I say this is the center of a box coming this way, this should be 12 right here. Through my right vanishing point there. Divide this in half. I'm going to get 10. Right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 into the room. Remember that if I have a box like this and I want to make the same size box next to it, I find the center this way, here, and then instead of saying this is the center of the box, this is going to be the center of the next rectangle. So it's headed off in this direction, I know. Where do I stop? Wherever this line through the middle meets this line here, should make me a box where this is now the center. Okay? So on the floor, I took this 4 to this 8, and I said, that's 4 feet. I want 4 more feet out here, right, to get to 12. So instead of this being the center of my box, I made this the center of my box. And then I went from here through the center to here to create another box here that would be twice the size of this box here. Okay? So now I have like the railroad tracks getting smaller and smaller going off into the distance. Things getting smaller as I get farther away. I want to build a sofa. First I build a box the sofa was shipped in, and to do that, first I get the footprint on the floor. If this is 4, this we decided is 2. From the center of that off to left vanishing point I've got 2, so the 3 is going to be in between those. I can come away from the left vanishing point on the floor. My floor moves in 2 dimensions. Everything on the floor is going to go to the right vanishing point or the left vanishing point, right? So if I come from 4 feet out into the room 3 feet, and then I come across here, I want to go 6 feet, right? So from 4 to 10 is where my sofa is going to be. I'm going to come in to my 3-foot line, and now I've created the footprint for my sofa. The shadow on the wall, these go up to 3 foot high. How do I find 3? Here I've got 2, 3, 4. So here's my 3. Everything on the right wall is either vertical or relating to my left vanishing point. And I check that with the floor. Okay? The floor is going to left vanishing point, so the ceiling has to go to left vanishing point. If I want to hang a picture up here, those lines go vertical or towards the left vanishing point. Okay? So the top of the sofa is always going to come from the left vanishing point if it's on the right wall. So I come to my 3-foot left vanishing point through the 3-foot out into the room, creating a 3-foot high line here. That seems a little high. I'm going to come up to here, being a little awkward. Alright, 3-foot high. It's going to be something like that. Now I've got the shadow on the wall, the footprint on the floor. I can bring these straight up to the point where it comes from the back corner through the right vanishing point. That's going to create the box my sofa was shipped in. These two should meet on their way to the left vanishing point. Looks like I'm a little bit off of there. So I want to drop this some, I want to drop that some. This looks a little bit height to width disproportionate. It should be 3 by 3 feet. So I'm going to let that fall a bit. Just to cheat it in, I'm fudging a little bit because I'm sketching. Alright? But I definitely want myself to look proportionate, so as I go along, if I run into problems with my measurements, which I do, if there's anything I teach you, it's to recover from mistakes, right? Just kind of be aware as you go along and what a proportionate box would be. Okay, let's erase these back lines just a bit. I could take my kneaded eraser probably and tap them out would be better. Halfway through the box is my seat, so I can take this line divided in half, or I can take this line divided in half. They should meet on the way to the right vanishing point. This should go on the way to the left vanishing point. Back to right vanishing point, left vanishing point. Now I've got the seat of my sofa set up. I'm going to come in here a little bit so I get a tilt to the back. Keep that straight. Judge by the edge of the paper, right? Okay, so now I've got the seat, the lean, a little much there. I want to find the middle. Just now while it's easy, I could do it later, but From here, I'm not going horizontal like I did in the 1 point. I'm going off towards my right vanishing point to find the middle of that seat. Come to the front and drop it down. Come to here and move it up at this angle. I'm going to see the top of this a little bit. Right? It goes off that direction. So this line's going to come like that, and then here it's going to go towards right vanishing point, creating a cushion here and here. Yeah. Halfway between the seat cushion and the floor, I want to make a support. And my legs. The arm is going to be about halfway between the seat and the top, so the arm is going to attach here. And here. These should be meeting on their way to the vanishing point. This one should be a little narrower than that one. And that is my basic. If I erase out some of my construction lines here, or the floor lines underneath, you can see how my sofa is developing. This I want to be the side of the sofa here, actually. Okay, this is actually going to come out here. This is going to go off to left vanishing point to create that back leg, and this is going to be a little bit of gap between here and the back wall. Shade that in, shade this a little bit, just so I can see the form. Okay. If I want to modify that sofa, actually let's first make a ottoman. It's going to be high as the seat, drop down to the floor right here, come out into the room. That's the center of the box. Give myself again, I'm sort of just estimating here how wide I want my sofa or my ottoman to be. I could come back to this wall and measure. I could say, you know, if I had an exact sofa or an exact ottoman and I wanted to say this is a 6-foot couch and I wanted a 3-foot ottoman, I could come here to the 7 and I could go 1.5 feet this way and 1.5 feet this way and measure those out and come out here from the wall to make those be more accurate. I'm often debating how much accuracy I want. Sometimes I want accuracy, sometimes I want speed, right? This box, the ottoman was shipped in, is going to come up from the corners to the height. So I measure back here to this bottom line where the front of the sofa is going to be. I walk that up to as high as the seat's going to be, then I walk back out of the room away from my right vanishing point, and that tells me where the end of my ottoman box. It's actually going to cover the sofa just a little bit, and this top of the box is going to be headed to left vanishing point. This is going to come out from right and do something like this. This should be going towards left vanishing point. Looks a little dishonest there. Alright. So this is my ottoman box, the box the ottoman was shipped in perhaps. Looks a little bit long. If I wanted to alter it, now would be a good time to sort of make it a little shorter if I feel like it. It should be. Halfway down, I want to give that ottoman a support, so it's got the same construction or similar to my sofa. All these lines are going left vanishing point or right vanishing point or vertical. If I round my ottoman out here, it's going to actually come in a little bit this way. So maybe I want to move those legs in accordingly. I'm going to X across it so that my buttons are doing something that relates to the rest of the drawing. I don't want to come in at the end and make something that just doesn't seem believable. I'll fluff it up a little bit, round it out. This seems really wide. I don't like it, so I'm going to narrow that up too. Make this ottoman cushion do a little bit shorter. Make the legs a little longer perhaps. Sometimes I just look at the proportion and I say, you know, it doesn't really work. It's more important that my proportions be well done and that my vanishing lines go to the right directions, that things are getting smaller as they disappear in the distance, and then everything be precisely measured. So that's why I call it sketching. You can have both if you want to take the time to set that all up. Maybe I contour this a little bit to make that a little rounder, a little fluffier, shade this end of it if I feel like it. Underneath to set it down on the floor a little stronger. Might shade out in this direction too a bit, right? Anyway, if I want to embellish this, put some feet on that ottoman to make it a little bit more fancy. Rococo. I can take this or this, change the feet and things a little bit. I can put the, this doesn't seem right. See how that seems wider than this is? Let's try this Xing thing again. I want to come back to here, X from here to here, and from here to there. Looks close. Maybe this lean is the problem. That'll help. So this looks bigger than that one, right? I could bring this into here. If I wanted, I could bring this out. I can play with it. If I want to make this sofa, excuse me, if I want to make this sofa do whatever I want to do, I'm still going to use that box. It says that this surface they should tilt to the left and this surface they tilt to the right. To get my details on my sofa moving in the proper direction. At this point I can just enjoy designing it. Because if drawing is a series of corrections, design is probably even more so a matter of changing one thing, changing one thing, changing one thing. You start with something that exists in the world, like that clunky couch we had at the beginning, and you're going to kind of create objects that might be interesting to you. How far I go with this is up to me. I can keep drawing and drawing with it. Better if I have a picture, some kind of a photograph to work from. Always helps. I'm just sort of doing this from my imagination right now. So how well it succeeds, I don't know. But that's the concept. That'll help you get your 2 points set up.